Hi, I'm Kaitlin McGoldrick, and today I will be analysing the Space campaign by Spices Retreats that was released in response to the loosening of Stage 3 COVID-19 restrictions, allowing for recreational travel again. So this campaign was developed to encourage those who have spent too much time at home to come and enjoy the space Spices have to offer. Spices use a unique selling proposition message strategy as the campaign highlights its main unique feature, which is its sprawling acres of Australian bushland. Coupled with its 5-star luxury, differentiates Spices from its competitors. So the big idea was to create an emotional connection with the audience, which links their desire for space and the space Spices have to offer. Spices chose to sell the idea of space as their message strategy to try and appeal to consumers who are currently stuck at home during the COVID-19 restrictions. During the pandemic, many felt the weight of cabin fever. However, cabin fever is no joke and can lead to depression, and if in a shared household, can cause people to lash out on one another. A health report suggests getting out in nature as a coping mechanism for cabin fever during the pandemic. So this insight reveals that people feel uncomfortable staying home for too long, as it causes problems to one's health mentally and a strain on relationships. As Spice's target market are couples in the age bracket over 60, this age group were more likely to be encouraged to stay inside and away from socializing, feeling the effects of cabin fever even more. This key consumer insight was the big driving idea behind the Open Spaces campaign. The message of open spaces is the answer to the consumer's problem, targeting the mental psyche of the target audience. Considering Spice's price point is on average $1,500 per night and the average hotel price point is $208 in Australia, it's clear Spice's Retreats can be categorized as an expensive room, meaning this decision is a high involvement product when looking at the FCB grid. Booking with Spices is motivated by the emotional need to achieve effective satisfaction that require feeling. For example, staying here will make me feel better. Additionally, luxury goods play a role in gratifying one's ego and social acceptance, which both fall under the high involvement feeler category. The Open Spaces message strategy is going to be appealing to the target audience as the techniques used lines up with the product category in the FCB grid, which suggests using emotional arousal to get the attention of the audience. Spices also use large spaces and image specials, which is the most effective way to advertise a product in this category in the FCB grid. This message strategy is extremely successful. Therefore, the only recommendation would be to build on the strengths that already exist. Theory suggests when encouraging a buying decision when advertising high involvement purchases, that the sales presentations should contain strong arguments that are difficult for the message recipient to refute or counter-argue. So, these strong arguments could include testimonials from past guests who feel reinvigorated after staying, as you cannot argue someone's experience. Another example could be reflecting the exact situation of the consumer. So the campaign could show a couple fighting, them packing their bags and driving to Spices, really reflecting their situation right now. So looking at the creative strategy, this campaign was developed to encourage those who have spent too much time at home and come and enjoy the space Spices have to offer. Spices use a range of appeals and techniques to effectively bring their message space to life. Spices use a transformative appeal that was used to influence the customer's perception of their usage experience when staying at Spices. This transformative style of advertising is highly emotional and creates feelings and beliefs about Spices that may be activated when customers choose to stay. This appeal can be seen through the usage of how the models enjoy their stay at Spices in the different videos attached to the campaign. One video in the campaign show a couple with grey hair, assumed to be 65 or plus, affectionately holding hands, walking out of their spacious villa and into the sprawling open plains Spices have to offer. This couple resembles the affluent target audience, the visible achievers in the Roy Morgan segment. This transforms the way consumers see Spices, interlinking space and Spices in a way that they cannot be separated. Digging further into the video, we can see the couple's clothing is all white. And according to color psychology, this refers to purity, a clean state, freshness, and simplicity, which can make the audience feel like the location is clean at the time of their campaign. This could also mean a clean slate into their relationship as they've been fighting a lot. This spacious feeling is accompanied by the sounds of birds chirping, giving a real sense that they're out in nature, away from the hustle and bustle of the city that they're living in. In the series of videos Spices include in their campaign, all the models are shot from behind. So the audience watching at home in their recliners can picture themselves here, looking out into Spices. This angle technique gives the audience a "this could be you" subliminal message. If you were to book at Spices, this is a highly effective approach considering the current state of the target audience we've already discussed. So in terms of recommendations, when buyers are making a high involvement decision, like booking with a luxury retreat such as Spices, they gather extensive information from multiple sources, evaluating many alternatives, and invest substantial effort in making the best decision. As this emotional state is not enduring, to make the customer feel at ease, it can be suggested to show the many accolades and awards they have received over the years at the end of the video and in related campaign material such as their landing page or any information. This gives customers a sense of proof that Spices is worth investing into and they can trust them. So looking at Spices' media strategy, the 3 channels that were used were YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram were Spices' prominent channels of delivering their ads, as the space videos on YouTube did not include a title and were clearly not intended to be seen by an audience. The advantages of using Facebook are that people aged 50 to 64 are the most dominant age group using this platform, with 90% of people actively engaging. This correlates with their target audience as well. So there are still active users on Instagram in this age group, however, only 26% use the app. The same report reveals that 71% of users in this age group use social media to research holidays, travel, and accommodation. So therefore, there is a high chance that most of this research is done on Spices' Facebook page. So this really is the ultimate conduit in delivering their message to their target audience when it comes to social media platforms. Spices use sponsored ads, so paid media, on both Facebook and Instagram to reach their message further. So the Facebook ads that were published had a reach range of 45,000 views all the way up to nearly 300,000 views. However, there was little engagement in these videos from users. So the recommendations, when the audience is viewing Spices' Facebook ads, naturally to find out more, they would have clicked on the Facebook page. However, the banner at the time shows a crowded restaurant with people clearly not social distancing, so this isn't connected at all. This would have been a great opportunity to provide a banner on their Facebook page that reflects the campaign Space, especially considering Facebook is an informational tool when researching holidays. The same concept also goes for Instagram. Instagram had posting gaps over 1 week apart and does not reveal any Space by Spices content or anything that relates to spaciousness, so the message can really get lost here when people want to dig further into space. So there are 2 main regulations when advertising their campaign during COVID-19. So the AANA provide regulations for advertisers and marketers. For example, Section 2.6 of the Code of Ethics requires advertisers or marketing communications shall not depict any material contrary to prevailing community standards on health and safety. So therefore, it's incredibly important that Spices are not going against any health and safety recommendations by the AANA when advertising. So the ACCC outlines that advertisers must not issue statements that are misleading or deceptive conduct, including puffery or any disclaimers that are really misleading. So as Spices are advertising space, they really need to provide space. Therefore, Spices need to provide COVID-safe statements consistent with the health and safety requirements that were dynamically updated during the different stages of the pandemic to make sure that they're not getting into trouble here. So in summary, Spices did a fantastic job in advertising space during the pandemic. When we look at theory, it all lines up, and there's only